Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show.
Welcome one and all to another episode of the Newfangled Motion Picture Show. I am your host, Niall.
And I'm Nolan.
And today we're going to be discussing the Rian Johnson's most recent movie, Knives Out. Proving to the masses that he actually can make a good movie.
Yeah, well, actually, all his other movies, other than the one that, everyone thinks of right now, other than his Star Wars attempt, everything else I'd seen by him I'd liked, and most people have.
Yeah. Before we get fully into it, just want to let everyone know we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review, and then we'll be giving you a spoiler warning, and going more in depth into the movie after that.
So, Knives Out is a whodunit.
A whodunit.
Which is a subgenre of mystery, in which a crime is committed in an isolated place, and there are a number of witnesses. Basically, anything by Agatha Christie.
Yeah, I was going to say, think Murder on the Orient Express, I think is probably the most well-known.
Yeah, which we also reviewed the most recent version of that, so
yep.
Go check that out.
And also Clue.
Yep. Clue. But anyway, this is a whodunit, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. It's as all the best whodunits are, it's a eccentric and diverse cast of characters.
Yeah, the
all with their own potential motives.
Right. So there's the centers around the murder of a man who is a mystery writer by trade, played by the wonderful Christopher Plummer.
Yep.
And he's murdered, and basically all of his family are suspects.
Yeah, well, it's his... The main suspects are his son, his daughter, and his daughter-in-law, and his...
Son-in-law,
his grandson.
Yeah. I think that's all the major suspects.
Yep. And Daniel Craig is playing a rather southern gentleman.
He's a southern version of the character that was in all of Agatha Christie's books.
Yeah. This is well-known private investigator.
He's Belgian, right? I believe.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Daniel Craig plays Benoit Blanc, a private investigator who's brought in to consult with the police on the matter.
Yep. And yeah, I mean this has pretty much everything you want or expect from a whodunit. And the whole time, we're like talking, trying to figure out who killed the guy, why they would have, And this movie has quite a bit of humor in it too.
Yeah,
I'll point out
some dark humor, but
there's definitely some dark humor. There's also some just really funny lines in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I recommend it. It's hard to talk about this movie without spoiling anything.
Yeah, I think we might have a significant spoiler section, but I definitely recommend this movie. Go see it. Don't let Rian Johnson's last endeavor poison you for this.
Here's the thing. Not everyone, but a lot of people are like, oh, Rian Johnson's a terrible movie maker. And I was like, no one was saying that when he was assigned to the movie. Everyone went, oh, Rian Johnson, he makes good movies.
Yeah. Remember that movie Looper? That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, which is why he got the job. So, yeah. Just, don't let that uh, you know, fool you or whatever.
Yeah, don't let that poison you to this movie. Definitely recommend Knives Out. So, I don't know. Just let's go into the spoiler section.
Yep. So, henceforth, for spoilers, you've been warned.
Yep. So, actually, first spoiler is we actually know who did it pretty early on.
Yeah.
But what we find out later is that this person was tricked into doing it. And that's the real crime.
Well, kind
of.
So she didn't actually do it.
No. So what had happened is his nurse, played by Anna de Armas.
Yeah.
You might remember from Blade Runner 2049. She played Joy. Anyway, she was Harlan Thrombey's nurse, and they basically she admitted that she was more, she was a caretaker for him, but she was his friend. Like, he's a lonely old man. Most of his family are crappy people.
Yep.
And so, she became his friend and confidant. And when he decided that he was going to leave everything to her that he had, and he's a very wealthy man, and no one knew.
She didn't know.
She didn't even know. But when he told somebody that
Chris Evans,
his grandson,
Ransom,
he swapped some drugs in her nurse's bag because he was on some painkillers.
He was on like a regular, like, pretty safe painkiller, as well as a small dosage of morphine to help him sleep.
Right. So she gave him what she believed to be a deadly amount of morphine by accident, because the drugs were switched, and Ransom had also taken out the drug that would have been an antidote to an overdose of morphine. And so the old man, he tells her to get out of there, to sneak out of there, how to get out of there without arousing any suspicion, and then he slits his own throat to make it look like a suicide, because he knew he was leaving money to her, and if it looked like she had killed him, she obviously wouldn't get the money and might even go to jail. But we find out that she just, because she's such a good nurse, she grabbed the correct drug because it looks slightly different.
It feels like you can tell the difference in weight.
Yeah, it feels different. It looks different than the morphine. So she actually gave him the proper dosages without any problems, but the labels had been switched. So anyway, it was all revealed in the end that it was and so Ransom was sitting away with a murder attempt on his grandfather, but also he murdered the housekeeper who had figured it out, or had evidence that would point towards the real crime.
Yeah, so I had, from the beginning, I suspected that the labels had been switched on the bottles or something, and that she hadn't actually given him that ridiculously high dosage of morphine that she thought she did, because, like, I mean, she was like, oh, you're supposed to be given 3 milligrams. I just gave you 300 milligrams, and in 10...
Or it was like 100 milligrams, whatever it was. Yeah.
And, in 10 minutes, your brain's gonna start shutting down and all this stuff. And he has, he comes up with this plan of, like, all right,
you're completely lucid.
Yeah, and I leaned over to Nolan here and said, man, I think someone switched the labels on these bottles, because if he was given that much morphine and it was going to have that big an effect on him, he wouldn't be lucid still.
Yeah. And so
I mean, he's like taking notes on because he's like, oh, this would be a good way for someone to murder someone because he's a murder mystery writer.
right. We were also for a bit. I think you had suggested that maybe this was all just a plan to teach his family a lesson, and so like the police were in on it and they're helping him fake the whole thing. But I think we dropped that pretty quick.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's so really the movie you're trying to figure out who the real like once you realize that like so the rest of the movie is her trying to avoid police suspicion as well as the audience trying to figure out who the real murderer was. Or I mean technically it's still a suicide, but
Yeah, because he did slit his own throat before the drug killed him. Well, the drug wouldn't have killed him anyway because she had given him the right dosage of the right drug.
right.
Didn't actually give him the morphine. But, you know, she thought she did. So, yeah, and it's real, like, kind of twisted, and it's kind of fun. The Daniel Craig plays a very eccentric sort of character.
It's so weird hearing that accent come out of that man, though.
Yeah, it's this very like deep Southern accent,
Very antebellum.
yeah, and so it's amusing watching him try to like work out this whole thing. So yeah, I think that's about all we can say about Knives Out.
Yeah, go see it.
Yeah, definitely go see it.
So we got to see this a little early. They had a widespread early screening over this weekend for Knives Out. I mean, it was like basically every theater in town was showing it. At least a couple showings each day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if we got it, I'm assuming everyone got it. Because we never get the special showings of stuff.
Right. So if you didn't see it this weekend, it's officially out next weekend.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And you can go see it then.
Yeah.
I recommend it. Take the kids.
Good family film.
Yeah.
It
Well,
takes
it's PG-13, right?
Yeah. So our next movie we're going to be reviewing is 21 Bridges. And then the next one after that's going to whoa, IMDb changed the layout of their website. The next one after that's probably going to be Frozen 2. Right?
Yeah.
Then we get into December where Nolan's gonna go see Playmobil by himself. We got Jumanji, Richard Jewell, Uncut Gems. That's gonna be a busy weekend. Obviously we're seeing Star Wars. Should we see Cats, Nolan? Just to see the train wreck?
I'm afraid I'll have nightmares.
Oh man.
I don't know. It might force its way into the zeitgeist.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if we should see it. Like surely, you know, we'll need to understand some memes, right?
Yeah, the 1917.
1917 is the last movie we'll see this year. And I'm really excited
Unless
for
there's
that.
some special showing of something awesome that they sneak in there.
We're not going to review anything else this year, though. Like, if we can find somewhere that's showing all the Star Wars movies or something, I want to see the original trilogy in theater. Because I was like 4 or 5 when the special edition started. And that would have been my last opportunity.
97.
So 6?
So yeah.
I would have been. I mean, I kind of remember going to see them, but I have no memory of it. You know, like I don't really remember seeing it. I remember that we went to see.
I remember Mom and Dad and I were somewhere without you. We're like traveling, and then I think we were going to New Mexico to see Dad's parents, and you were staying in town, and we stayed at a motel along the way that was next door to a theater, and we went and saw one of them, either Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi.
I think it was Jedi, because I kind of remember. I have a slight memory of A New Hope, and like, you know, like kind of remember like you and Dad pointing out things in A New Hope that were new.
But anyway, we never told you.
Yeah. And then I also kind of remember seeing Empire. But anyway, yeah, so if I can find somewhere that's showing, you know, all of the Star Wars movies leading up to Episode 9 or something. I'm not going to sit through all of them, but I would love to see the original trilogy in theater, if at all possible. We seen Bad Boys for Life?
Yeah.
All right. Obviously, we're seeing The Gentleman, new Guy Ritchie movie.
Yep.
We have to see that, and the cast for that movie is stacked. And so I mean, we can't not see it. You got Matthew McConaughey, Colin Farrell, Hugh Grant. You didn't recognize this Hugh Grant?
I didn't realize it was Hugh Grant during the trailer. No.
Yeah, a bunch of others. I mean, it's a Guy Ritchie movie. Everyone who like fancies themselves like a dramatic character actor wants to work for Guy Ritchie at some point, right?
Sure.
Are we seeing Birds of Prey?
Probably. I think we need to lay out our whole.
No, I'm just saying like
here.
that's what we're coming up to. I mean,
yeah, that's in February.
Yeah, but there's only like 2 movies in January.
Okay.
But yeah, so Sonic's coming out in time for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that'll be the romantic film of the year, I'm sure.
Yep. But anyway, so yeah, that's what we got coming up. So if any of that sounds of interest to you, you want to hear reviews on any of that, hit that alert button down there or whatever. I don't know if it even matters anymore. Who the hell knows what YouTube's going to decide to do? Start showing you stuff in your feed today that you're like, why is this even here?
Yeah, and according to looking at the comments, a lot of people had that question about that video.
Yeah, so yeah, you know, do what you want. Comment on the video, like the video, whatever. I'm not gonna make you.
It worked though. A lot of people apparently watched the video.
Yeah. And check out our other reviews. What was our last one for?
I could have told you before.
We see
it was The Good Liar.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, so go check that out as well. So yeah, till next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.